Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone that's about to view the 8th game of the 13-year-old New England Regional Babe Ruth Tournament. Thank you to all the viewers. I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Matt Collins here from Westfield, and I have my nephew Jake Collins here with me as well. Jake played Babe Ruth, played Little League, played Babe Ruth, played for St. Mary's High School here in Westfield, and then played some college ball for American International College. So welcome, Jake.
Glad to be here.
So we have Trumbull, Connecticut on the field right now. They're taking the field for some infield, outfield. Trumbull won their game last night. They had a 9-3 lead going into the 6th inning, and the other Massachusetts team from Newton was able to pick up 6 runs in the 6th inning and tied that game. That game went into extra innings. Trumbull did end up winning that game 13-9 in the 10th inning. Westfield's coming off a tough loss last night to Pittsfield. They, too, were down 4-1 late in the game and scored 5 runs in the 6th inning to take a lead 6-4, only to give up 3 runs in the top of the 7th inning and lose that game 7-6. So we've had some good baseball played here in Westfield over the past 2 days. We look forward to some more. And I'm sure Westfield would like to get a win under their belt against a Trumbull team here from Connecticut. This Trumbull team has a history. Trumbull, Connecticut had a team that went to the Little League World Series back in 1989. And one of the fathers of one of the boys on this team, and unfortunately I do not have that name. I'll get it for you later in the game. One of the boys on this team's dad played in that Little League World Series, so that's pretty cool. Westfield's been lucky over the past, recent years. They hosted the World Series here last year for the 14-year-olds, and a few years back they had a 13-year-old team that won the regionals here, right here at Bullens Field, and moved on to the World Series in Washington, which was very exciting. Those kids actually just graduated from high school this year. And just to share an interesting fact, Jake, these kids that graduated from high school, local high schools, Westfield High, Westfield Vocational Technical Academy, and St. Mary's, are the last kids born in the 19th century, wow. 1900s, to graduate high school. So one of those boys being my own. So that's kind of weird to have that knowledge. That
and your own boy had a heck of a year with his high school team over at St. Mary's.
Yes, he did, coached by your dad and my brother. The St. Mary's baseball team won the state championship for Division IV. It was a
heck of a ride for them. They've quickly become a baseball school. Only 50 or 60 boys there.
Yes, about 50 to 60 boys.
50 to 60 boys. I mean, geez, a third of the school plays baseball over there. But heck of a run to win the state title, and heck of a way to cap off a high school career for your son.
That's for sure. That's for sure. I remember a few years back when I was the athletic director, and at St. Mary's I added boys lacrosse, and your father Troy, my brother, was ready to kill me. He said, "What are you doing in my baseball program?" And it didn't really affect it. I assured him that lacrosse players are lacrosse players and baseball players are baseball players.
Yeah. I think you figured that out before you get into high school. But they've come a long way. To do what they did is pretty amazing, and to your point with the group going down to the World Series a couple of years ago, Westfield baseball has always been strong, and it continues to be that way. Just great baseball played here, and happy to be here and see this tournament with great baseball.
Yeah, and I'd have to say, for those of you that are viewing this game and any other games, we have a beautiful facility here at Billy Bullens Field. Last year they put a lot of money into this facility so they could host the World Series. And the kids in Westfield are very, very lucky to have this type of facility. It's top notch. We have the lights here. We have beautiful stands, and it's very supported by the local community. So we're,
Yeah, I mean the money and effort they've put into it. Even since I played down here, it's probably been 8 or 9 years now. But the fences that they put up, the beautiful broadcasting booth we have here, the stands, they've done a phenomenal job with the facility, and the kids are lucky to play here for sure.
They sure are. So I tell you what, we're going to take a little bit of a break here. So we'll go silent for a little while while Trumbull finishes up their infield, outfield. And then Westfield will take the field for their infield, outfield, and we'll be back with you for starting lineups shortly. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Billy Bullens Field, Westfield, for this matchup for the 13-year-old tournament teams for Babe Ruth in the New England Regional Tournament. The visiting team today will be Trumbull, Connecticut, and our host team is our local Westfield, Mass All-Stars. Correction on that, for this tournament, we're at this point in the pool play. Westfield will be the visiting team, the home team, Trumbull, Connecticut.
Hey, get your head in the game. Let's go. Yes, sir.
We'll announce the substitutes for Westfield. Number 14, Joey Calderella. Number 2, Brady Collins. Number 3, Jake Yakum. Number 15, Aiden King. Number 7, Colby Nadu. The starting lineup, playing center field, number 9, Jeremy McCormick. Playing left field, number 1, Bobby De La Pena. The shortstop, number 5, Troy Heavey. The EP, number 22, Dylan Ruth. Right field, number 12, Jimmy Bluier. Doing the catching, number 4, Alex LaCourse. Playing third base, number 19, Kareem Zagul. Doing the pitching, be number 24, Riley Sullivan. Playing first base, number 6, Danny Provost. Playing second base, number 10, Ryan LaPointe. Coaches will be Jim Yakum, Joe Heavey, manager Jim Cloutier. Hey. Protest committee will be Pat Sullivan. The independent protest committee will be Phil Acela. The home team will be Trumbull, Connecticut. The substitutes, number 2, Charlie Langworth. Number 11, Eric Osterberg. Number 7, Mitch Russo. And now your starting lineup for Trumbull, number 34, playing center field, Luke Mizuik. Shortstop, number 19, Jack Wallace. Doing the pitching, number 6, Dylan Morin. First baseman, number 25, Ken Martin. Doing the catching, number 20, Justin Delaney. Number 1, the second baseman, number 1, Johnny Bova. Playing left field, number 22, Grayson DeFelici. Third base, number 4, Jack Ligori. And the right fielder, number 23, Nick Capone. Assistant coach, John Bova. Assistant coach, Bob Bardzik. And manager, Tim Bardzik. Their protest committee will be Charlie Langworth. The officials for the game, first base side will be Don Singleton. Third base, Joe Baschek. And the home plate umpire, Tom Riley. Ladies and gentlemen, please remove your caps and stand in salute for our salute to America with the national anthem.
Okay, welcome back to our viewers. Once again, this is Jake Collins and Matt Collins getting ready to broadcast the game number 8 of the Northeast Regionals 13-year-old Babe Ruth. Today's game is between Westfield, host team Westfield, and Trumbull, Connecticut. I'm going to turn it over to Jake to give you the lineup for Trumbull as they get ready to take the field, as they are the home team, and Westfield will be the visiting team for tonight's game.
Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We got a cool 83 degrees out. We'll start with the starting lineup for the visiting Westfield. Leading off is going to be Jeremy McCormick playing center field. Batting second is going to be Bobby Della Penna. Batting third is going to be Troy Heavey. Batting fourth is going to be Dylan Ruth. Batting fifth, playing right field, is Jimmy Cloutier. Batting sixth, catching, is going to be Alex Acorce. Batting seventh, playing third base, is Kareem Zagul. Batting eighth, doing the pitching, is going to be Riley Sullivan. Batting eighth, playing first base, is going to be Danny Provost, and rounding out the order at second base is going to be Ryan Lapointe.
All right, so as Trumbull takes the field, the lineup for Trumbull is going to be on the mound is going to be Dylan Moran, number 6. He's batting third. So batting first, we'll go here in order. Batting first, playing center field, is going to be number 34, Luke Masick. Playing shortstop, number 19, batting second, is Jack Wallace. And then he will be followed by the pitcher, Dylan Moran. Playing first base and batting fifth will be number 25, Ken Martin. Batting sixth and doing the catching is number 20, Justin Delaney. Playing second base and batting seventh will be Johnny Bova. Playing left field, number 22, Grayson DeFelice. Playing third base is going to be number 4, Jack LaCory. And then batting last and playing right field will be number 23, Nick Capone. So boys have taken the mound here. Like Jake said, it's a nice night. You know, it's 83 degrees, I believe. The air's a little heavy. But it doesn't look like we have any rain in the forecast, so that's
not a
good.
cloud in the sky.
Yeah, it's we dodged a tough one last night. We thought we were going to get poured on for our late game. Jake, you know, our game was supposed to start at 7 o'clock last night, the Westfield game against Pittsfield. And the first game of the day went into extra innings, which pushed everything back.
I heard that. I heard it was a late start and a late night. But,
yeah, first pitch was at 9:06 last night. So
these boys are young. I'm sure they'll bounce back.
Yeah, so hopefully they went home, got some good sleep, rested up, and, you know, Westfield, I hope, is ready to play today because I know Trumbull is. And looks like Jeremy McCormick is stepping to the plate and getting ready to take that first pitch from Moran.
Here we go.
So Moran is looks in, is getting ready to pitch to McCormick, who's waiting for the first pitch. I think he likes to start that out with a strike. You know, Jake, it's so important as a pitcher to start ahead of the batter.
Absolutely, it lets you play off all your dominant pitches, throw some off-speed stuff. First thing I notice,
McCormick swings.
Nice play by the shortstop.
Yes,
Very
that
nice.
was. Diving
Very
play
nice.
by the shortstop. Good way to start
Had
the
to
play.
come in and get that, or that was probably going to eat him up in the short hop.
Absolutely.
One of the first thing I noticed about the Trumbull pitcher here is straight out of the stretch, no windup.
Yeah, I noticed that. And, you know, you don't see that often, but my guess is that's his level of comfort. Now, Bobby Della Penna is stepping to the plate here. He's a left fielder for Westfield, and he's ready to take a crack here.
That one looks up and away.
Might be a little bit of a tight, might be a little tight strike zone here for Della Penna because he's not he's a little guy.
There it is.
In there for a strike, you got to count a 1-on-1 on Della Penna.
Yeah, you usually see just the stretch from generally relievers, not starters. But like you said, it must be a comfort thing. And there's a ground ball to third base, picked up.
Third base makes a nice play,
That's
throws it, airmails it a little bit.
Looks like he got him on the tag. He dropped
first
the ball.
Baseman thinks a tag, but drops the ball. So Bobby Della Penna will reach first base, and unfortunately, on an error by the. You know, it's tough to call. Is that an error throw or an error on the catch? It was not a routine throw.
I don't think you can give it to the first baseman, but it's a tough play at third there. You field the ball right down the line. The body weight's going away from him. Had to try and get enough behind it. He got it there, just a little bit offline, and great hustle down the line from the batter as well.
Yeah, you know, and the first baseman for Trumbull, Ken Martin, made a beautiful play to try and tag Bobby out, but unfortunately, that ball became dislodged. So here we are with the third batter of the game stepping to the plate, and Troy Heavey, Westfield's shortstop. Heavey pitched a great game yesterday. Westfield made a few errors that hopefully they can overcome tonight and play a nice solid game of baseball. So Heavey's waiting for the first pitch. I've noticed already that this pitcher has a little bit of a slow delivery with runners on base. He throws it looked like a curveball there.
That was a curveball, yeah. Left it up a little bit, but that's one you as a batter, you know, those ones that are spinning like that and coming in high, you like to hit. So a little surprising, and generous lead off first base. We'll see what he does here.
Yes. Heavey waits the pitch. Ball was a little up there, but Heavey took a stab at it. You know, it's hard. You get kind of anxious as the batter up there, and it's hard. You tell the kids to look for that first strike to be right in your zone. Make that pitcher throw it where you want it.
Yeah, especially when you're ahead 1-0 in the count. The pitcher's already behind you. You want to hit your pitch, so it's.
Heavey takes a swing down to third base. Looks like could be a double play ball. Throws it to second for a force out at second, but Heavey is able to get to first on a fielder's choice.
So 2 down in the inning. Let's see if Westfield can make the error hurt.
So Heavey's on first base, 2 down in the inning, and Dylan Ruth, the extra hitter for the Westfield team, is stepping to the plate. I'd have to say, Jake, looking at this Trumbull team, they're size-wise, they're quite a bit bigger than Westfield is.
Yeah, that's one of the first things that I noticed. On the mound, I don't think he's overpowering, but we can see right away he's going to pound the zone with strikes, which is going to force Westfield to get the bat off their shoulders and put balls in play.
Yes, Moran delivers the first pitch to Ruth for a called strike.
And again, that's the first time in the top of the first inning that he started hitters off with a curveball. So that makes it, you know, twice as hard on a hitter, where you're not just sitting on the fastball. There's multiple pitches you can get over a strike, and it puts something in the back of the hitter's mind.
Absolutely. As a pitcher, you can throw your curveball for a strike. It just opens up a whole new world for you.
Absolutely.
He throws a second ball in the dirt. It looked like he threw another curveball. He might be living on the curveball tonight, but that was in the dirt for a ball. So 1-1 count here on a Ruth.
But again, not a bad pitch there. You know, just missed in the dirt, but something
throws
you want to
another
chase.
curveball. Ruth
runners off.
Swings. Yeah, runners off for a stolen base. He gets in a second, slides in a second safe, and a swinging strike by Ruth. But I tell you, it was another curveball, and it was in there for a strike. Dylan doesn't swing at that. That ball is called a strike.
Well, and to your point too, that was very slow developing, and the pace of the pitcher to the plate. You know, I think he really stole that more off the pitcher than the catcher, and that one just misses out.
Just misses, but once again, looks like he's going to throw the curveball, which is fine. You know, Westfield's going to have to adjust to waiting and sitting on that,
Yep.
making sure you're swinging on it if it's a strike. Hevey takes a lead off second base. And here's the pitch. Right down the middle to Ruth. That was a fastball. He grooved it for a called third strike, which ends the top half of the first inning. So Westfield does not pick up any runs, is able to have two men reach first base. In fact, with a stolen base, we got a man in scoring position. So not a bad start for Westfield. Pretty good start for Trumbull and their pitcher.
No, and you can see right away he's going to, like we alluded to, he's going to throw multiple pitches for strikes. And the fastball isn't overpowering, but, you know, when you see 3 straight curveballs and you're sitting there as the 4-hitter, you know, the guy beats you inside with a fastball, and, the bat sits on the shoulder, unfortunately. But that's something that Westfield's going to have to adjust to, and they're going to have to see the ball out of the hand, and, you know, we'll see how it goes. But it's very, very clear that that Trumbull's going to throw strikes, and they're going to throw multiple pitches for strikes.
Yeah. I would say, with that said, typically you have batters in there they're trying to guess when that curveball is going to come, and it looks like Westfield's going to have to guess on when the fastball is going to come. But his fastball and the curveball didn't seem to be overpowering. I think the boys from Westfield should be able to adjust.
No, it doesn't seem overpowering, and you know, it's sometimes when you guess, that's when you get into trouble. You gotta trust your hands. You gotta see the ball in the pitcher's hands. You know, you hear all the way growing up. You sit fastball, you adjust to the curveball, and luckily for Westfield, like you said, it's not overpowering, so it's not something where where you should be worried about either pitch beating you, but it's going to be around the zone. So in that sense, you really have to have good plate discipline. You really have to swing at strikes, and you have to hit your pitch.
Absolutely, could not agree more. So Westfield has taken the field here in the bottom half of the first inning for their warm-ups, and leading off for Trumbull is going to be their center fielder, number 34, Luke Messick. I believe I'm saying that right. You know, I want to reach out to the people in Trumbull, or any other fans out there from the towns or the states that these kids are coming from. Feel free. We don't know a lot about your kids. We do know a lot about the Westfield boys. Feel free to send us a text message if you'd like us to give a shout out to anybody on the team, or if there's anything special you want us to say about anyone on the team in regards to their play.
Yeah, any nicknames, any good little tidbits.
Yeah.
We like to have a little fun with it.
That would be great. So my cell phone number is area code 413-454-1238. Feel free to send us a text message, and we'll be happy to say what we need to. So Sullivan delivers the first pitch in there for a ball, a little high and outside. Sullivan he's thrown from the full, ready to deliver his second pitch.
Misses the same spot. He's got to finish a little bit better and locate. To your point, pitching is a lot easier when you're ahead. Down 2-0, it's not the way you want to start it off, but let's see if we can battle back.
he gets down to a 3-0 count here on the first batter. You know, and the other thing with pitching is being able to calm yourself down and not steer the ball.
Well, yeah, and he's missed up and away 3 straight times, and to your point, it's you know, these are big games. It's there's that one's in first strike, but it's tough to calm your nerves out there, especially when the game gets going. It's tough to settle in, and you know, hopefully that first strike there will get him on the right track. But yeah, there's a lot of pressure on these kids.
Just misses low and outside with a ball 4, so the leadoff runner for Trumbull has reached on a 5-pitch walk.
You know, and that's what you'll generally see. I mean, you know, you saw he missed with the first 3 high and out, and that's generally a product of a pitcher overthrowing. Mm-hmm. You know, he threw the strike on the 3-0 count, but then he threw the other one in the dirt. That's generally the product of a pitcher trying to steer the ball. So it's got to find that happy medium. That's a healthy hack, but it's fouled out.
Jack Wallace is in there, the shortstop for Trumbull, and Sullivan pitches a nice pitch, a little below the knees, and Wallace chases it and fouls it back behind the backstop.
Yeah, and as a pitcher, though, that's where you want to live because you can't get hurt down there.
Yeah, you stay low, the ball stays low.
Yep.
You get up there up by the letters, they get a hold of one, that ball's going to go pretty far.
When you get in trouble. Runners off.
Runners off. Throw by LaCourse to second base. Good throw, but runner slides in there safe. He did get a good jump.
Yeah, another one that looked is a little slow to the plate. Catcher, really nice transfer, and you know, nice throw. A little bit of a short hop, but he didn't have much of a chance at him there.
That last pitch was a ball. They got a 1-1 count now on Wallace. Yeah, Messick got a good jump on that. He didn't have a terribly big lead, so I think it was a surprise that he went, but
Yep.
It looks like Trumbull's going to run. Now that pitch is outside for ball 2. You got 2-1 count. You know, if Westfield can do the fundamental things of baseball, if anyone can do the fundamental things of baseball, you put yourself in a position of winning.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see, especially, you know, in these type of tournaments at the high school level, the college level, as far as you go. When you get into these big, high-pressure games, pitching and defense usually wins. I mean, you know, you get that occasional game where you scored, you know, 10, 12 runs, but, I mean, hitting comes and goes. If you can pick the ball up and you can throw the ball over the plate, you put yourself in a good position to win the game.
Yeah, Riley was getting ready to deliver, and Wallace is granted time. You know, Sullivan was almost in the middle of his windup. I'm surprised he got a time.
It's dangerous for a pitcher sometimes. Yeah. You don't want to stop and start, but
throws ball 4. So we have 2 men on, first 2 men on, and right now Riley needs to settle himself down. Right now he's thrown 8 balls and 2 strikes, which is not where you want to be as a pitcher.
Yeah, especially not to start the game with the 3-hitter coming up. He's got to try and settle down here, get something in the zone that he can, you know, hopefully get the 3-hitter here to roll over on. Got a couple force outs at second and third, so. And that one is a ground ball.
Pitcher Dylan Moran hits the ball up the middle through a diving Heavey short to load the bases for the game's first hit. You know, Heavey made a nice try at that. I'm not sure what he would have had for a play. He may have been able to force out at second.
Yeah,
maybe.
he would have had a shot there. He probably would have had him. But that's, you know, just as a pitcher, that's unlucky right there. That's a 2 or 3 hopper that wasn't hit all that hard. You know, it got up the middle. You can't fault anyone for it. But you know, that's one that you hope finds a glove. You can't complain when you walk a few guys, but
right.
you know, that's frustrating.
So first baseman number 25. Ken Martin steps to the plate. Westfield,
there's a
we
pass
got a pass ball over the course of his head.
Takes off from third, and he will be safe easily.
First run of the game. I was about to say before that pitch was thrown that it looked like Westfield was going to concede a run because they had bases loaded with no outs, and they were still playing back. They were not playing in to try and get that force out at home.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably what the strategy is there is to probably play the corners in where if it's hit right at you, you're going to go home and take the out, but being the first inning of the game, and you know, if you can get a double play ball, and you'll trade 2 outs for one run at this point.
Yeah. And you know, I know as a pitching coach, you got Jimmy Yakum out there, who's a legend in Westfield, not just in his own mind. He's a legend altogether. So he's out there, and to talk to Riley, kind of settle him down a little bit. He's got the infield in there with him, along with Alex, of course, the catcher. And this is a good timeout. You know, we don't have Westfield has not recorded an out yet. There's runners on second and third with the cleanup hitter up. So at this point, Westfield needs to get an out.
Yeah, and it'll come with age, obviously. I would have personally liked to see the catcher go out there a little bit earlier. You know, when you start a game with 2 walks and whatnot, you know, you got, again, pitching, all eyes are on you. It's a tough thing to do, and we've all been there where it doesn't go according to plan the first couple batters, and it's good to have a teammate or a buddy there to settle you down.
Yeah. Westfield infield is in to try and get the runner at home. And Sullivan delivers his second pitch. That, too, is a ball with 2-0. That ball looked like it was a pretty good pitch. My guess is it missed outside.
It did, and I noticed, and I'll look for it going forward. I noticed on that pitch in particular, the catcher even looks set up a little high, to be honest with you. He's a little up in his stance, and you know, that can be tough for a pitcher, especially when you're struggling. You want to get the ball down, you want to pound the zone, and he's in danger of walking the third bat of this inning.
He is. You got a 3-0 count here on Martin.
There it is.
He grooves it in there for a strike. That's a nice pitch. You know, as a pitcher, it's so important to be able to know if you throw strikes, your defense is going to make the plays.
Absolutely.
So he's got to make sure he gets some confidence in his defense, make the plays you have to. Make the easy ones, I guess you can say.
Yep, the routine ones for sure.
Nice pitch, pop up by the lights. Ooh, looks like it might have hit. No, didn't hit the lights. That was a good one.
May hit a car.
Yeah. So we got a full count here.
Yeah, nice job battling back here. Let's see if he can make a third pitch in a row to get an out here.
Yeah, give himself a little bit of confidence moving forward to the next hitter. Ooh.
Yeah,
hits him in the back.
Hit by pitch.
Hit by pitch, which will load the bases up again.
Which, in all honesty, isn't the worst thing in the world. You know,
no, because there's a force at every place now.
You know, pitching a lot in my time, it sounds strange, but I'd rather bases be loaded than have second and third. It gives an out everywhere, especially, again, at this position this early in the game. You know,
I'm going to be honest.
They got to get an out here. They got to get something rolling.
Yeah.
It starts with, it starts with getting ahead in the count. It is a very, very difficult thing to do, to pitch from behind. Yeah. It's very, very difficult.
So Trumbull's catcher, number 20, Justin Delaney, steps to the plate to take his chance here at Sullivan, who delivers. He's still throwing high. He's releasing that ball high. He will settle down. You know, I've known Riley for a long time, and once he gets in there and he's able to groove the ball, I think he's going to be okay. Pitch number 2 right down there for a strike. That was a nice pitch. But I think also, Jake, Trumbull's playing this, hey, he's not throwing a lot of strikes, so we're going to look at a lot of pitches.
Oh, yeah, as a team and a batter, if you see a guy throw a couple 4, 5, 6 pitch walks in a row, you're going to go up there and maybe not necessarily take a strike, but you're going to be very selective on the first pitch that you're looking for. Yeah,
Sullivan delivers there, and he delivers a nice strike. So he's got a 1-2 count on the batter. So this is the second batter in a row he's had 2 strikes on. So let's hope he can record an out here.
2 strikes on, and the first hitter in the game he's been ahead on, which is good. Let's see what he has here. And he goes up high. I think that was a purpose pitch.
I think it was. You know, I don't know how you feel about it, but I cringe when I see batters duck down a little bit if it's not at him. I almost want to call it a strike anyways.
Yeah, I hear you. It's
but I'm not wearing the blue. Here's a pitch.
And that one's up too.
A little high.
Now another thing I've noticed is that we haven't seen any sort of off-speed pitches. Yeah, it's been all fastballs. You know, I'd like to see him at least try and throw something off speed to get these hitters off balance a little bit.
Yeah, because you got a 3-2 count here, bases loaded. You don't want to walk in a run.
That's
he throws
a nice
strike. Oh, I do not know where that missed actually, but that's okay. That's a ball 4, and like I said, I am not wearing the uniform. So we walk in a run here, and Westfield has still not recorded an out with the 6th batter of the inning coming up in Johnny Bova, the second baseman.
Yeah, and unfortunately that kind of comes with the territory. When you're struggling with command and struggling finding the plate, you don't get the calls that you normally would if you're pounding the zone. And fair or unfair, it is what it is, but it's that way at every level, and it'll always continue to be that way because it's always been that way.
Yeah, that's correct.
If you're not around the plate, those borderline pitches are generally not going to go your way.
You know, oh, he throws a first pitch in for a strike. That's good. Looked like Bova chased a little bit, but I think that might have been called a strike.
Yeah, that
anyways.
was from here. I don't have a great angle at the outside corner, but it looked at a good height, and the batter obviously had some indecision about it. He did go around, so.
Which leads me to believe it might have been a breaking ball.
There's a
fly ball to right field.
Caught.
Cloutier catches, the runner tags and decides to retreat.
Nice throw home.
Great throw home by Jimmy Cloutier. And that is the first out of the inning. So that hopefully will give Westfield a little bit of
and a much-needed
confidence.
out.
It was a much-needed out. You know, you were saying before about pitchers, if they're having a hard time finding the zone, sometimes it makes it a little tougher. The other thing I find sometimes with these young kids, if they find that they're not getting the calls they want, their body language on the mound says a lot. The good thing is Riley seems to be staying composed out there. First pitch for a swing, pop up towards left,
shallow, and it's
short
going
left
to be
field.
Down. But they do get
Force
the
out at third base for a force out, but a run does score. But that is the second out. That ball did drop in. There seemed to be a little bit of confusion.
And personally, I know it landed just in the outfield grass. I'm not really sure why there wasn't an infield fly called there.
You know what? I agree with you on that.
That put not only the defense but the base runners in a tough position.
Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised that it wasn't. But there are two outs. The third run has come home, and that brings up Jack LaCory, the third baseman, number 4. You know, honestly, Jake, now that you say that, I don't know why an infield fly wasn't called on that unless the umps were fooled a little bit. I thought it was going to be a little deeper when he first hit it.
Yeah, that landed probably about 5-6 feet on the outfield grass. And again, I understand it's the outfield grass, but, you know, generally it's all discretion of the umpire in the sense that, you know, how high is the ball hit, you know, where's it going to come down, that sort of stuff. And although it did land on the outfield grass, that was pretty much a textbook infield fly in my opinion.
I agree. So LaCory's an 0-2 count right now by Sullivan. Sullivan's hoping to get a nice strikeout here. That was close.
And that's a very nice pitch there. That's if you're going to miss, that's where you want to miss.
Yep, I agree. So we have a 1-2 count right now on LaCory, who is the 8th batter of the inning. And Sullivan's hoping and Westfield's hoping to stop the bleeding a little bit here so they can get up and bat. That pitch is thrown for a ball, a little high and outside. The problem here is Sullivan has thrown a lot of pitches this inning.
Yes, yep, he has. And, you know, he seems to have settled down a little bit. Mm-hmm. He's more competitive with the hitters for sure, but it's still, you know, I'm not him, so I don't know if it's a product of overthrowing. He's just leaving the ball, you know, out a little bit. But, you know, you'd like to see him really finish a little bit more and work that ball down in the zone.
So LaCory's the 5th batter of this inning to have a full count. Here's the pitch, and that will be ball 4. And we once again have the bases loaded.
No harm, though. I mean, you know, obviously you don't like to put another runner on, but no harm. I mean, Westfield's.
I agree.
It's not ideal to give up 3 runs in the first, but if they can record an out here, I would say they got out pretty cheap, in my opinion.
I agree. Nick Capone steps up to the plate, the right fielder for Trumbull. Capone waits the first pitch, in there for a strike. Now, I do have to say the last 5 batters or 6 batters, Sullivan has started them out with a strike, so that's a good sign. He's starting out ahead.
Yeah, and he's taken, I think, most of those guys to 2 strikes.
He sure has.
It's, you know, just gotta finish the job. And to your point again, Trumbull's not helping him out at all. You know, they're
not swinging at anything.
They're working the count. They're taking it deep. They're making him work. Which again, when you're a little erratic on the mound, that can be tough for a pitcher. You know, it's
Sullivan delivers a second strike.
There's nothing better as a pitcher than when you throw a pitch in the dirt or that's just out or up or where, you know, what have you, that a hitter chases.
Correct.
You know, there's nothing better than the hitter helping you out, and it's when you're around the zone that tends to happen, and then when you fall behind, it's the other way generally.
Sullivan delivers a 1-2 pitch, a little low. We now are sitting at a 2-2 count here for the number 9 hitter. You know, I said, send me some text messages if you want some things said. And that is a K for Sullivan to end the inning. So he gets through. He gets through it. He gets the third out, but not before Trumbull's able to pick up 3 runs. So Westfield's going to come back up, you know, battling a little bit of a crooked number up there. But like you said, Jake, they had 9 batters come to the plate, so it could have been worse.
Yeah, I think they got out cheap. And, you know, if there's one thing Westfield, I guess, can hang their hat on is, I mean, geez, Trumbull did it with 1 hit.
Yeah.
You know, the at-bats were good, you know, but nothing was scorched. It wasn't like, you know, they were squaring the ball up, you know. And so as a pitcher, I got to come back to the dugout and say, you know, shake that off and whatever. And,
Correct.
And, you know, let's see if they can hit what I'm throwing.
Because I do have to say, Sullivan seemed to he kept his composure through that and was able to get that last batter. You know, I sent a message out to the viewers out there who are watching the game to send me a text message if you had anything you wanted to say, anything special about any kids. So I did get a text message from David Terrell, who's watching at home. He is a Westfield guy and happens to be the cousin of Jimmy Clute. And I just heard that Jimmy Clute is a wiffle ball legend. So that is something I'm going to have to talk to Clutes about. I'm not sure, David, if he's a legend in his own mind or if he's really a legend. So
yeah,
that's
Dave, you're going to
know.
have to expand upon that a little bit. I mean, is he a pitcher? Is he a hitter?
Give us some more information.
You know, give us a little bit. We'd like to dive in a little deeper on this.
And I'm not saying that your view is a little skewed because you're his cousin, but that's okay. If he's a legend, he's a legend. Let's talk about it. So Westfields are getting ready to take some swings again here at Trumbull. Trumbull was able to get Westfield had 4 batters face him in the first inning against Moran. And Jimmy Cloutier, the wiffle ball legend, is going to step to the plate. He had a big hit for Westfield last night, which gave Westfield the go-ahead against Pittsfield, which we unfortunately lost that game. But this is a new game. That's what's nice about baseball. You get to play it the next day.
It is. There's always another game.
So here we go. Moran's getting ready to pitch here. We got Cloutier up at bat, and he's ready to deliver. Cloutier takes that first pitch for a called strike.
You know, and then one of the other things I wonder for the Westfield hitters is, although Moran's stuff doesn't seem overpowering, he's a big presence on the mound.
He is a big presence on the mound.
He's releasing that ball, you know, almost at the edge of the grass, and that can be deceiving for a hitter for sure.
Cloutier gets out in front of that one a little bit, hit that one on his front foot, which he doesn't normally do, and hit that ball foul down the third base line. So he's in the hole a little bit, 0-2. You know, Jake, I'm a middle school assistant principal, and I look at this team from Trumbull and some of these other teams from the other states, and I don't have kids in my school that are this size at 13 years old.
Westfield's got to get on the diet plan.
I'm trying to figure this out.
That these other teams are. They're definitely the smaller of the two.
Yeah.
But,
so,
you know, baseball's that's what's beautiful about baseball is you look at a guy like Dustin Pedroia.
I was just going to say that.
You look at guys like D. Gordon, you know, those guys, they're tiny guys. They're not big guys. And, you know, if you can hit a baseball, you can hit a baseball. It doesn't matter if you're 5'8" or 6'5", you're Aaron Judge, you're Dustin Pedroia. It's someone's got to throw it, someone's got to hit it, and someone's got to pick it up. And it doesn't baseball doesn't discriminate against height or weight or, you know, what have you. That's what's beautiful about the game.
That is correct. Cloutier takes a stab at it, hits it down the first base line. First baseman makes a play, pitcher covers, and is able to retire Cloutier. So we score that a 4-3, first out of the inning, and that brings Alex LaCourse up.
But good at bat. I like the at bat. Put a ball in the play, put the pressure on the defense. You know, like we talked about before, defense is every bit as important as pitching. I mean, if you'd have the best pitcher in the tournament on the mound, if you can't pick the ball up, then you know, you'll be in trouble. So that's step number one for Westfield. You know, I'd be trying to, especially with Moran pounding the zone the way he is, I'd be trying to sit on a pitch and jump on it early and you know, see if we can make something happen.
Yeah, so LaCourse is ready to take the second pitch. He's down 0-1. That first pitch was a strike. He's starting the kids out with strikes. You know, I have to get back to David Terrell here. He sends me some stats, Jake, and I want to say they're pretty impressive.
Are these official stats?
I'm not sure how official they are, but it looks like the Kloop man has a 1.08 ERA with 41 homers and 24 stolen bases. He does it all.
What league is that in?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but he does. He is a legend.
That's Hall of Fame status.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And such a young guy, too.
Yeah, I mean, he's
got a long career ahead of him.
I think we should sign him. You know, they do have an awesome wiffle ball facility here in Westfield. It's called Mini Fenway.
They do.
Yeah.
They run a couple tournaments a year for our veterans. It's a great event. They
do. They raise a lot of money.
The gentleman that runs
Alex,
it,
of course, drives the ball to right center. The center fielder gets underneath it for a flyout. But I tell you what, Jake, that was promising. He got a hold of that ball.
Yeah. They put a good swing on it, and again, it's becoming very clear that you're going to have to jump on Miranda early in the count.
Absolutely.
If you sit back and let him get ahead in 0-2, 1-2, you're going to have to hit his pitch.
And let's hope the batters for Westfield are seeing that, as number 19, the third baseman, Kareem Zagul, takes a stab at it. Kareem swings at the first one, a little high.
It was up, but you like the aggressiveness.
Yeah. I mean, he's sometimes you get a hold of one of those high ones, you're able to put it, nice little line drive over the second baseman or over the shortstop.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yeah, back to my point about the wiffle ball field, though. We do have a replica Fenway here in Westfield, and the gentleman who runs it is a Mass State Trooper. Does great things for our veterans every tournament. I actually played in it last year for the first time. It was a heck of an event. And
how did you do?
We lost in the finals.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if you had the legend Jimmy Cloutier playing for you,
what?
You
Honestly,
may have won.
Someone's got to send me his contact
information. Absolutely. I think I could do that. I know his family very well. So it's 1-2 now to Zagul, with 2 outs here in the top half of the second inning. Zagul ready to take the pitch. Swings, drives the ball towards second base. Second baseman has some range, moves over. Double pumps, makes the throw for the out. It was a nice play by the second baseman.
Very nice footwork. Solid contact for sure. I mean, Westfield's
they're swinging the bats.
They're swinging the bats. I like the aggressiveness, the change in stance from the first inning to the second inning. The bats got off the shoulders a little bit, which was good. And you know, if Trumbull continues to make plays, though, like that, it's going to be, they're going to be tough to beat.
I agree. So, I have some friends out there right now that have their sons playing for the Mustangs out in Georgia in a tournament. And I want to give a shout-out to John Benini and Frank Mochek, who are out there. They were here just last week for the state tournament, telling me where they were going. Their boys are Nate Benini was a key factor in the state championship for St. Mary's. He shut the door in every single tournament win. And Dalen Mochek is off to pitch for Western New England College. Dalen is a big kid, and he has a love for the game, as does his dad. His dad is also a legend in Westfield when it comes to baseball. There's a lot of legends in Westfield.
What are they down there for, a tournament?
They're down there for a tournament with this travel team called the Mustangs. So they're down there for a tournament. They're going to face some pretty good ball,
I bet,
over the weekend. There's quite a few local kids on that team. You got Nate Benini from St. Mary's. Quinn Powers plays for St. Mary's. Dalen Mochek and Anthony Clark, who's a phenomenal catcher.
Anthony's going to AIC, I believe.
He is going to AIC, and I tell you right now, Anthony Clark. I coached him when he was younger. We coached him on the Wizards team, and he played through Westfield Little League.
Yep. And
this is not against any other player that I've ever coached, but I've never seen a kid work harder. He made himself into the player that he is, and absolutely, what a kid to coach. Look for good things from Anthony when he goes off to college.
What's the old saying? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Oh, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Again, baseball's a sport that, again, it doesn't. You see sometimes coming up, the kids blessed with the most talent
I agree.
end up washing out the quickest, and the kids who you thought were nothing when they were 11, 12, 13 years old go end up playing college ball or even further.
You know, if Anthony or his dad are out there listening to what Jake just said, I think that might ring something to your ears. So I think,
And congratulations,
thankful.
Anthony. And, Coach Collini over there at AIC is a great guy. The program's up and coming. You'll have a lot of fun over there. I enjoyed playing there myself, and good luck to you.
So Sullivan delivered the first pitch to Messick, a little high for ball 1. That's pitch number 2, a little low for ball 2. You know, I'm hoping, I really want to see Riley get in a groove here because I know what type of pitcher he is and I know what he can do. Sullivan's ready to deliver the third pitch for a swinging strike.
Yeah, and that's what's tough when you fall behind. I mean, that was a really nice hack there at the plate. And you can see Trumbull, they're just, not that they have many hits so far, but they're sitting on pitches right now.
Yes, they are. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're making Riley throw a strike, rather than swinging at anything that's even remotely close, it seems. So here we are with a 3-1 count on Messick. Messick walked the first time up and scored the game's first run. Sullivan to deliver. Looked like he tried to throw a breaking ball there. Missed high.
Yeah, something that seemed a little off about the windup there. It was almost, I don't want to call it a hitch, but he sat back a little longer. Whatever he threw, he certainly didn't get on top of. And it's as a pitcher, we've all been there. Sometimes you can't find a rhyme or reason to why the ball's not going over the plate.
Correct.
Pitching is, it's a very mechanical process, and you try to repeat the same thing every time.
Correct.
And when the most minor of things break down, it causes the ball to move, not even inches, feet sometimes.
You're right. So manager Jimmy Cloutier goes out to the mound and decides to make a pitching change, and he pulls Sullivan out from the game and is bringing in number 14, I believe is Joey Caldarella. Yes, it is. Joey Caldarella will now be pitching. Will be replacing Sullivan. Sullivan was upset leaving the game because you know what? He's a kid who just has this desire. And it's okay sometimes to see the kids when they're upset to leave the game. It wasn't anything inappropriate. He just wants to play. He wants to pitch.
Yeah, and I mean, especially when you struggle and whatnot. It's I never take it as I'm mad that I'm being taken out. I take it as I'm mad at people. Athletes are hard on themselves sometimes.
Absolutely.
Nobody wants to come out here and struggle. And he threw some good pitches. I mean, when he was around the zone, he got swings and misses. But again, it doesn't matter if you're pitching in the 13-year-old regional or your name's Pedro Martinez. If you're having trouble throwing strikes, it's tough. It's tough to get people out.
You're right on it there, Jake. And I'm sitting back, as you said, Pedro Martinez, and I can't help but go back to Grady Little going out on the mound to see if Pedro wanted to come out of the game. And, of course, Pedro did exactly what pitchers should do. No, I don't want to come out. And those of you Red Sox fans out there know exactly what that led to. So, we are looking at 13-year-old kids here who are developing. And we will see a lot and hear a lot from Riley Sullivan in the future years. He's actually attending Westfield Technical Academy next year as a freshman. So I think the Western Mass baseball scene definitely has not heard enough of Riley Sullivan's name yet, because they're going to hear a lot more of it, I think, through his high school years.
I'm sure they will. Yeah, he had good velocity.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see him, and again, I haven't seen Riley pitch previously. I'd like to see him maybe try and work in a little bit more breaking stuff, especially if he gets in a situation where the fastball's not locating. But yeah, I mean, he definitely has the stuff to pitch at the next level.
Joey Caldarella starts Wallace out with a strike. We do have a stolen base. That would be, I believe, Messick's second stolen base, so he's not afraid to run.
Yeah, it's pretty clear he's probably going to run every time he's on base.
Yeah. So, Jake, we go back to the breaking ball thing as Wallace gets ready to take pitch number 2 with an 0-1 count. I think part of that sometimes has to do with confidence. So if a pitcher can start the game off with a couple of strikes and get some confidence under their belt, they're more willing to kind of throw what they need to throw.
Yeah, and I think, one of the biggest things you can do, especially
Joey just misses. Sorry about that, Jake, with a ball for 2-1.
Especially at this level, kids coming up through Little League, it's primarily fastballs. So when you get to this point, I mean, unless you got a guy who's, flamethrower ahead of everybody else, most of these kids are
swing and a drive to deep right field. It got Cloutier turned a little bit. That ball was hit hard and deep, and Messick is coming around to score the game's 4th run, and Wallace has a stand-up double.
That was a very nice piece
of hitting. It really was.
It was a very nice piece of hitting.
And it looked at first that Jimmy was going to have that ball, but it turned him a little bit.
Yeah, that's one of those tough ones that's right at you and kind of freezes you. They say the outfield's first step's always supposed to be back, but when it's hit right at you, or it looks like it's coming right at you, the outfielders tend to freeze. And, unless it actually is right at you, that's when you get into trouble.
Yeah.
But
so at the plate now is number 6, the pitcher, Dylan Moran. As a pitcher, you like to see your team have these runs up on the board early.
Yeah, and it's never tough to, especially when you're already chasing 3 runs, you got a runner on second. It's never it's never easy to enter a game that way as a pitcher. You generally like to have a fresh inning.
Yes.
You got to come right in, and you got to throw out of the stretch. You got to hold the guy on. It's a high leverage situation, and you can't fault him. He's throwing strikes. The kid,
he grooves one in there right there for a 1-on-1 count.
Threw it on the outside corner. He took it to right field. It was a nice play all around.
Yeah. I don't think he missed a spot with the pitch. It was just a nice piece of hitting.
But and back to my point about the breaking balls. You got these guys coming up through Little League, and at this point, pretty much everybody can hit a fastball.
Yes.
It's at this level when you really start to see who can adjust to the off-speed stuff and who can't. And you even see with Trumbull, they're throwing a lot of off-speed stuff on Westfield, and the swings haven't been terrible. But, as you get older, especially as a pitcher, the name of the game is not to strike everybody out or blow the ball by everybody. The name of the game is pitch to contact.
Yeah.
You want to keep with the focus on pitch counts the way they are right now and whatnot, and that one's popped up to the first baseman.
All right, popped up for an out.
Not only do you have to get outs, but you got to keep the pitches down.
Correct.
So it's the name of the game in this day and age is to pitch to contact, and the way you pitch to contact is to keep hitters off balance.
Yeah. So number 25, the first baseman, Ken Martin, steps up to the plate. The other thing is these kids are 13, and we don't want to forget that a year ago they were playing on a 60-foot diamond rather than a 90-foot diamond. They just attempted steal. The third slides in there safe.
Yeah, that's
so Wallace steals third on a first pitch ball.
Yeah, and again, in my own personal experience going back in the day, that's sports in general. I grew up, I played hockey, I played soccer and whatnot. The jump from the Little League field to the 90-foot diamond was one of the most challenging things for a child that age.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
In athletics. I mean, I remember the first time I got up here, I hit the ball and I run on the first base. It felt like I was running a marathon.
Yeah.
You can't believe how far you have to run to get to the bag. And especially, I'm a smaller stature guy. I was only probably 5'2", 5'3".
Yeah.
I mean, it took me 50 strides to get
I'd have to say that Jake is a typical Collins who was not blessed with speed. So I don't know where my boys got speed from, but I have some fast kids, believe it or not, but it's definitely not in the Collins blood.
There wasn't a lot of speed. The strides were short. It was just it was a bit of a mess.
Yes. I think they used to say, Jake runs like he's got skates on. I'm not sure what that meant, but here we are with a 3-1 count to Martin. Ball 4, missed high.
Skates don't move that well in the dirt.
No. So, number 20, Justin Delaney stepping to the plate. There is one out here. Now, we got runners on the corners. And the infield for Westfield was in. It looks like they're playing. It looks like they want to get that runner, and rather than play for a double play ball, they really want to try to get that runner.
Yeah, I think they got the feeling of being on the ropes a little bit right now. They don't want to give up any more before they have another chance to hit. But again, it starts with
first pitch in for a call strike right down the middle with a stolen base. We now have runners on second and third.
No throw through. That'll be a defensive indifference. But it's it starts with making these guys hit the ball. Again, Trumble's only had, I believe, 2 hits.
Yeah, well, look, scoreboard saying
maybe
3, but 3 hits. They have 4 runs on 3 hits and 1 error.
We've seen what, 5, 6 walks already.
Yeah,
that's
yeah. And a hit batsman. So drive the ball to LaPointe. LaPointe throws home, overthrows the catcher. So now 2 runs are going to score, and it is now 6-0.
Yeah, it was a nice play by LaPointe there. Short hopped, ball was struck very hard.
Yeah, that ball was hit hard.
It's a very nice play to come up with it. Great play by the runner on third because he was off on contact.
He was.
By the time, as hard as that ball was hit, by the time it ended up in LaPointe's glove, he was 3/4 of the way down the baseline.
Yeah, the better play on that may have been just to go to first to get the out.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because it would have been a bang play at the plate.
Exactly, and to be honest with you, with a good throw, I don't think he had him.
Yeah.
But again, with the infield in, you got one job. It was a hard hit ball. You can't blame him for going there. You're trying to make a play, and again, that's what happens.
It was a great effort.
That's what happens when runners get on base. The pressure elevates, and everything comes a little bit tighter.
Yeah. Now the second baseman Johnny Bova steps to the plate. He's got 1 ball on him, and as Joey Caldarella delivers ball number 2, we're going to have another chip to the mound. This time by Coach Heavey. Westfield really needs to be able to throw some strikes.
Yeah, I mean that's the difference in the game right now.
Correct.
Trumbull's done a very nice job of throwing strikes and picking the ball up on D, but there haven't been.
Looks like Westfield's
a ton of hits.
No, it looks like Westfield's going to make another pitching change here in the second inning, and they're going to bring in number 2 Brady Collins. They're really looking for some strikes here, so hopefully Collins can get in there and pick up here. He's going to inherit a batter with 2 balls on him, but hopefully he can throw some strikes and give his defense an opportunity to make some plays.
Yeah, and that's again, it's always easier said than done because you're not the guy out there, but you can generally you can live with teams just putting together good at bats or getting hits off you. Walks are frustrating.
They are.
They are. It's a free pass. It's tough. You want to do everything you can to try and make the guy earn his way on base.
Right. So it's we go back to some terminology I guess that was used this past year when St. Mary's was able to put together a state championship team. Now Westfield, like I said, we've said it a few times, has a history of putting good baseball teams out there, and we're lucky enough to have 3 high school teams here in Westfield, and we have great feeder programs. But St. Mary's had this they had this team chemistry about them this year that was great, and they lived by this. They called it the 6-second rule. And what my brother Troy was trying to instill in these kids and the other coaches was, in baseball you make a play and you got 6 seconds to move on to that next play. Whether it's a good play or a bad play, you got 6 seconds. It's over. Move on and get it done. So, what I'm looking to see here is Ryan LaPointe made a beautiful play on that, stopping that ball. He made a high aired throw because he was trying to get the kid at home plate, but he's got to remember the good part of that play.
Yeah, and I mean baseball. It's a great philosophy. It is. 6 seconds may be even a bit too long. But that's another thing that makes baseball. It separates it from other sports. You're playing hockey, you're playing soccer, you're playing basketball. The game moves so fast that you don't have time to sit there and think about what just happened. Right. Baseball, very, very mental. Yeah. Very mental. You got 30 seconds, maybe not that long, but you got time in between every pitch. So the mind wanders a little. It wanders a little bit. You beat yourself up, and it's something. A bad play or an error or a strikeout can compound into another bad play, and it's.
Collins delivers the first pitch to Bova, misses low for a ball.
Especially as a younger guy or a girl playing softball, it's very easy to get in your own head.
Well, Brady needs to battle back here, the 3-0 count, and he walks him. So we gotta stop the walking here. I'm looking here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 batters for Trumbull in 2 innings have reached by walk and a hit batsman. So we have 8 kids that have reached without without putting the ball in play.
And what's a little surprising is I wonder if it's maybe something with the mound, either stepping into a hole. Everything's up from every pitcher.
Collins delivers, misses low on that one. Throw down to third. Ooh, it looked like he may have had him, but he was called safe.
Yeah, I think he may have gotten under it. It was a good throw. He's quick to the plate. Again, it's it's not easy to come into an inning and inherit runners on base.
Correct.
Chasing.
So now we got runners on second and third, one out, and 2-0 count on the batter.
And the other big thing, and we haven't, I shouldn't say we haven't seen, I don't know if that ball to right field was catchable. It looked like it was over him. There's not much you could do. But, when you're standing in the field and you see this many walks, it's very
Collins delivers, still misses a little low. Now, he wants to be low.
Very easy to lose focus.
Yeah, it is. So DeFelice now has a 3-0 count, and this seems to be a reoccurring pattern here for Westfield tonight. It's unfortunate. Collins delivers outside for ball 4.
Yeah, and that's a pitch when you're struggling you want. That pitch, again, I don't have the angle here. It looked like it was a pretty decent height. May have been out a little bit, but again, it's when the staff in general is struggling to throw strikes, it's hard to want those borderline calls.
Correct. As number 4, Jack LaCour steps to the plate. Collins really needs to get an out here. There's only one out in the inning. He delivers a first pitch strike, which is good. Got to start ahead. Get some confidence in yourself, and just pitch. Throw the ball. Let him put the ball in play.
Yeah, I mean, get the ball to the plate. Let these guys hit the ball, and he's up.
Yeah.
He's up 0-2, and that's good. And get your team involved. Get your defense involved, and whatever. Again, not only is it tough to stand out there when there's a bunch of walks, it's tough to then walk into the dugout and get up to hit again.
Correct.
You got to get people moving and get people in the game here, and that starts with throwing the ball over the plate.
That's correct.
That looked like a very nice pitch. I'm not sure where that one missed.
Yeah,
but,
I'm not sure either. Yeah, 1 and 2. What Westfield does not need now is to get squeezed. Here we are, 1 and 2 pitch. Ball hit towards center field. Jamie McCormick coming in. Ball drops in front of him. He attempts the out at third. So we got a base hit, RBI, and we have bases loaded here.
But you know what, as Westfield, that's the first one that they've really scored. I shouldn't say the first one, but one of the first ones that they've done it with a hit. There's been a couple more, but it's
yeah.
If they're gonna score, that's the way you want them to do it.
So the 9th batter is stepping up here, Jake, and he's 9th batter of the inning, and the 9th batter, Nick Capone. Brady starts out with a 1-0 count, and I'm not sure where a couple of the pitches have been. They've looked pretty good. My guess is they're outside. That's a nice pitch in there for a called strike with a 1-1 count. So, unfortunately, Westfield right now is looking at a 7-0 deficit with bases loaded, 1 out, and we're only in the second inning. The ball hit to Zagul at third for a force out at home. That's a nice play by the third baseman.
Very nice.
So that'll be out number 2. We score that what, Jake? We score that a 5-2.
Yep. Yeah. Now everybody can deepen up, play their normal positions here, and again, I know it's been another 4 runs this inning, but if you can leave the bases loaded here, I don't want to call it a victory, but it's better than
yeah.
It's better than everybody scoring.
As they say, we got to stop the bleeding at some point here. We got Messick up again, and he's walked both times. Collins starts him out with a ball, comes in with another pitch, just missing high with another ball, 2-0. He's spending a lot of time trying to fix the mound in front of him after every pitch, and I'm wondering, he's slipping. You saw that last pitch as his front landing foot hits, it's sliding forward.
Yeah, and the reason I wondered that, well, 2 reasons. I mean, this is, you said, the 8th game that's been played, so the mound's had a lot of wear and tear already, and our pitcher from Trumbull's a much bigger boy than anybody Westfield's thrown out there yet. So when he strides and makes his his landing spot there, it's very, very possible that where he starts his landing spot may be where the Westfield pitchers are landing.
That's correct.
Which is causing the ball to sail high.
That's correct. So Brady's got a 3-1 count on Messick right now. Hopefully he can battle back here, throw a strike. He does throw a strike. So now we're full. Messick fouls that back to the backstop with a nice swing.
Yeah, Messick looks like a player for sure.
He does. He does. He's a big boy. He's got to be 5'8", I would say, as a 13-year-old. Collins delivers. Ball hit high and deep to center field. McCormick gets under it for the third out of the inning. So, moving forward, what do we got here? Trumbull picked up 4 runs in that inning.
Yeah, and I mean 4 hits. What are we up to? 9, 10 walks and an error.
Yeah.
I mean 7 runs is you could do worse.
Yeah, yeah. So, hey, they got a hole here. But they can battle back. You know, I look at
and give credit to Trumbull too. You know,
yeah.
it's I'm not. They've done a great job.
Yep.
They're very selective up there. They put some very good swings on balls. You know, they've done a very, very nice job, and they've made Westfield work on the mound.
Yeah.
And that's the name of the game.
So, leading off the bottom half of the top half of the third inning will be Brady Collins, and he'll be looking to get on base to try and give his team, put a crooked number up there at least. You know, they don't need to do it all at once. They just need to climb back into this a little bit.
And it'll be interesting to see as a pitcher. Obviously, you love the run support, but sometimes when you sit for half an hour in between innings, we'll see how Moran responds here.
Yes, yes.
It's easy to tighten up a little bit. I mean, obviously not so much with the 83-degree weather and the humidity out here, but you know, we'll see. It's pitchers are fussy in that way. You know, they want run support, but they don't want to sit too long, and you know, they're a different breed for sure.
They are. They are. Now, Jake says that from some experience. Jake played shortstop. He probably played most positions growing up, but in high school he was a shortstop. He did some catching. He catched Nick. Catched. Wow, that's terrible.
That's
terrible.
right.
He caught Nick Noblet in high school because Nick Noblet threw the ball very, very hard, and he needed someone really that was willing to catch him, I guess. Yeah, because that ball was coming in hard, so if it was in the dirt, you had to block it. So Collins steps to the plate. Moran's going to start here at the top of the third inning, and hopefully Westfield can put something on, get some runners on, get something going.
Yeah, and I noticed the third baseman for Trumbull's back. I wouldn't mind seeing someone try and lay down a bunt to get something started here. Westfield's got to jumpstart the offense here rather quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I don't want to say time's running out, but the hole's getting bigger and bigger.
It is. So Collins stands in there, and I'd have to say the size difference between Moran and Collins, Collins has a much smaller strike zone as he's ready for the second pitch. He takes one deep, well, not deep, but he drives it to left field. Left fielder gets under it, but he got a good piece on that one.
Yeah. Again, he squared it up. You know, and it's, again, this is what you're gonna have to do against Moran. You're gonna have to attack him early in the count. You're gonna have to hit your pitch, which unfortunately, when you're chasing runs, isn't ideal. Yeah.
So number 6, the first baseman, Danny Provost, steps to the plate to try and take his luck here at Moran. Moran starts him out with a strike. Westfield's still looking for their first hit here, Jake, and this has happened a lot in this tournament so far. In most games, the pitchers have not allowed a lot of hits in the beginning. You know, except for one game I was here for yesterday. Mm-hmm. It was New Hampshire jumped out. I think they had 11 hits in the first 2 innings.
Really?
Yeah, they hit the ball really well. That ball was in there in low for a 1-2 count.
Yeah, I mean, it's natural. Pitchers are fresher at the beginning of the games. You know, they tire as the game goes on, especially, again, it's been super hot and humid around here lately.
Okay, so there's ball 2. We got a 2-2 count now on Provost. And he's missing low right now.
Yeah, but again, that's where you want to miss. I mean, it's hard.
Provost takes a stab at it, not able to catch up with it, and that would be a strikeout recorded for Moran.
You know, especially when you're down or even in the count, it's hard to lay off that stuff that's ankle, you know, borderline knee high. It's much easier to lay off the stuff that's eye level and over your head.
Yes.
So, again, as a pitcher, not only do you want to live there because you can't really get hurt there, but you want to live there because from a hitter's perspective, it's harder to differentiate not only where the pitch is going to end up, but what pitch is coming.
Mm-hmm. At the plate now is second baseman Ryan LaPointe. And I know this sounds – I know I've said this twice because it seems like the smallest kids on the team are at the lower back end of the order here for Westfield. But Ryan LaPointe will be another small one to take a stab at it. But I've watched Ryan LaPointe play ball over the years too, and you can definitely be fooled by size. This little guy can hit, he can field. He's a good little ball player.
Yeah, and my point earlier about, you know, baseball, and that's
LaPointe hits it over the right fielder's head. Looks like it's going to fall for the first hit for Westfield. LaPointe gets a nice hit, a little blooper in no man's land out there over the first baseman's head for Westfield's first hit of the game.
Yep, put the ball in play and see what happens.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's I know there's 2 outs, but a little fun with 2 here. Maybe Westfield can get something going. And you know, that's, as I said before, baseball doesn't really – it doesn't discriminate in size, and that's what makes the game so great. But at this age, it's tough.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
you get
tough.
Kids that develop quicker than others, and you know, none of these guys
physicality.
none of these guys are in the gym lifting weights yet, I don't think. So it's more natural strength and, you know, genetics at this point. You know, the playing field's not as level at this age, unfortunately, because some guys develop quicker than others.
So the leadoff batter, Jeremy McCormick, steps to the plate with 2 outs and a runner on, looking to make some noise here. So, you know, Moran delivers a strike to McCormick to start him out 0-1. Jeremy's a very good hitter. Hits from the left side of the plate. Was able to get that bat through the zone quickly. So let's see what McCormick can do here.
And the right fielder's way off the line. They did not expect him to pull the ball.
No, they don't. Missed ball there. We got 1-1. Wow, that was hard to read. I thought it got by the catcher for a minute there. The point's not taking too big of a lead over there, and what you don't want to do is you don't want to make an out on the bases right now. You want
No, I mean you can't score 7 at once.
No, it's got to be one at a time.
One at a time, station to station.
This isn't football. So here we go, McCormick for taking his third pitch of this at bat. That's in there for a strike. That was a breaking ball. You know, Moran got away from the breaking ball for a little while there. That's the first curveball I've seen him throw in a little while.
Well, and I'll tell you what, I'm super impressed with Moran because not only is he locating, but he's throwing whatever he wants pretty much in any count. Not that he's gone super deep into any counts so far, but I mean he's keeping these hitters way off balance.
McCormick swings, puts the ball maybe in no man's land again. Nope, the shortstop gets back, makes the catch. So Westfield is able to put the first hit on the board. They're not able to matriculate that into a run. But, you know, it's something right now. So we head into the bottom half of the third with Westfield trailing Trumbull, Connecticut 4-0.
So I'm getting a little pressure over here. I got to give a little shout out. You know, we were talking up the St. Mary's State Champion team, but I have Anthony Collins, who was a member of the Western Mass winning team back in, I believe it was 2011. 2010,
that was 2009, actually.
Was it 2009?
And much of that championship was because of the athletic director, Matt Collins.
I heard that. I heard that. Yeah. But no, he, you know, we're building these other guys up, and you know, Anthony just sent me a text, said, you know, you need to let him know where it started. So, shout out to that 2009 squad, Anthony Collins, great shell player. You know, great guy. He just got married recently, actually.
Yes, got married on the day of the state championship, which is interesting.
He did. So,
and believe it or not, for all your viewers out there, that did not cause a family rift, which is what we were worried about.
No, Ant's good like that.
He is good.
He's you know, he's a maestro of sorts for sure.
Yes, and his wife and their family are great people, and. At the wedding, as my son Drew, who was a senior on the St. Mary's team, was getting dressed for the game in the bathroom, they started playing the song When the Saints Go Marching In, and that was not frowned upon, so that's pretty good. So Collins is out here to try and settle things down a little bit here. He was able to get out of it last inning. I think he had 2 runs scored. But, you know, here we are, new inning, fresh inning, like you said earlier, Jake. Number 19, Jack Wallace, steps to the plate. He's the shortstop, another big boy. And Collins is ready to deliver.
Yeah, we'll see what Collins can do here with a fresh inning. That's always easier on a pitcher, nobody on, you know, and hopefully he can get ahead. And, you know, Westfield really needs a quick inning here.
They do. They do.
They've been out there a long time.
So Collins misses with the first pitch, a little bit wide, and the second pitch was a little bit low. So here we go. We got him at 2-0 here, which is where you don't want to be. You know, again, and now it's 3-0, which turns it into a hitter's count at this point because you know where that next pitch is coming, or you think, or you're assuming it's coming right down the middle of the plate.
Well, that's the only way you're swinging at.
Yes, yes. So we'll see if he's got the green light. Collins walks him, 4-pitch walk, which is what we didn't want to see happen to start out this bottom half of the third inning.
No, and you wonder, too, you know, with the size differential, are the Westfield pitchers trying to nibble a little too much? Are they trying to, you know, pitch too finely, worried about getting hit hard? Again, though, at this point,
Collins throws over. He had him faked out. Ooh, he just missed picking him off at first base. It's one thing I'll have to say is he's got a quick move over to first base there, and the runner was definitely going. If you noticed that, he did take a jump.
Yeah, he had he was leaning towards second.
And he's off, and of course catches, throws. He's out at second base, I think. Ooh, just missed him. It was a beautiful throw. That would be ball 1, I believe. I think he called it ball 1. Wow, I thought he was going to have him at second base, but he must have just gotten around the slide.
It looked like he kind of grabbed the ball in front of the bag there and ended up tagging him up in the chest region. As a catcher, you like to see your middle infielder sit back and really take that ball in the bag. The runner probably slides into it, but again, as a middle infielder, it's very tempting to step in front of the bag and try and reach back.
Because you're looking at timing at that point.
You're just waiting for the
Collins
ball to get
delivers
there.
the second pitch of the at-bat. Hit through shortstop, and Wallace is rounding third and heading for home, and he will score easily. That was a ball that was, you know, hit right at the right spot. Heavey made a nice try at that, just missed it. But now here we go. We got a runner on first base. A run has crossed the plate, and we do not have an out. And number 25, the first baseman, Ken Martin, steps to the plate. Here we go. Westfield's looking to record an out here. Let's hope they don't let any more runs in at this point. There's a pitch called strike. Good start.
Yeah, and again, it's, you know, when it rains, it pours. That's a little unlucky for Brady there, but, you know, it was a good pitch. It wasn't
It was
a seeing eye single and not taking anything away from the hitter, but, you know, it's unlucky, but you got to make them hit their way on. You know, 9 out of 10 times that ball finds an infielder.
Right. You know, when you pitch low, they hit low, which is good. You want them to hit grounders. You just want to hit them a little closer to your fielder so you can make the play. Missing outside again. I'd have to think that there's a possibility that there's a lot of steering going on out there on the mound. You just got to throw.
Yeah, it's it seems to be compounding a little bit for them right now.
Yep. Brady misses low in the dirt. You know, at this point, as the coaches for Westfield are probably a little bit confused here as why we can't seem to throw strikes.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking for a reason. Sometimes it just is what it is, unfortunately. You know, everybody has these type of games.
They do. They
do. You know, and they say hitting and, you know, baseball in general, certain things, defense, it's contagious. And, you know, when
Brady delivers, foul ball down the third base line with a 2-2 count now.
Sometimes when no one's throwing strikes, no one's throwing strikes.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Unfortunate, but the same way, hitting's the same way. It just seems to work when, you know, when everybody's hitting, it rolls over and it's like a fine-tuned machine. You know, when nobody's hitting, it's
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't buy a hit.
Yep. So Collins gets ready to deliver. We have another batter at the plate here with a full count. And here's the delivery.
And if I'm Westfield right now, I not that you don't want to hold the runners on, but I see they're staying there almost until he delivers the ball. I mean, it's 8-0 at this point. You gotta get outs.
Yeah.
I'd like to see I'd like to see him get in and out. Obviously keep the base runner honest, but you want to be back at your position. You don't want to let anything go by that you could have been there for.
Correct. So Collins delivers. We have another walk here. The unfortunate thing is that young man on the mound's going to have to go home with me tonight and be a little upset with himself, and he takes the game very seriously. But, I try and tell him, it's a game. So the catcher, number 20, Justin Delaney, steps to the plate with no outs, a runner on first and second. Collins takes a pick. And actually, Moran crawled back to the bag there. He dove a little too early, but we are not able to get him out.
Yeah, and even, again, I understand Westfield trying to steal it out there with the pickoff play and whatnot. But, as a pitcher struggling on the mound, the last thing you want to do is worry about base runners.
Correct.
I know that they're on and they're there, so you can't just completely ignore them. But I would prefer to see them let him focus on getting the ball over the plate here.
Well, I think the one frustrating thing is there's been a couple where they're getting the ball over the plate, but they're not getting the close calls unless it's way outside. Which also could be a little frustrating, which will make you steer the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's
another attempted pickoff at second base.
In this sort of situation in general, it makes it pitching's all about rhythm. It makes it very tough to get into a rhythm.
Collins delivers a 1-1 pitch in the dirt for ball 2. As a dad, you want to go out there and talk to your son and say, hey, look at dude, just kind of pull yourself together a little bit here. Collins delivers a nice strike here for a 2-2 count. I believe that ball sounded like it was tipped back to the backstop.
Yeah, no, it's tough, but I got a 3-year-old myself and another one on the way within a couple days here.
Yes, and his wife is allowing him to be out here doing this with me tonight.
Well, I'm on call. So
he is on call.
If you just hear me disappear, if you don't hear from me or I disappear, you'll know why.
Yes. And I will not allow him to bring the microphone to that because that would not be something we need to hear.
But, I'm sure, you obviously always want there's another stolen base.
Another stolen base.
You want your kids to succeed, and it's for every good moment, it's how great it is. It's I'm sure just as tough to watch them, battle a little bit. And I'm sure I'll go through that as a father. But silver lining, losing they say builds character.
Yes.
And it's not always how you respond when things are going great. It's how you respond when things aren't going your way. Which, although it's tough as a parent to watch, it's how they bounce back, which is really important.
So Westfield decides to make another pitching change here. It's unfortunate. I'm not going to count this right now, but we've walked a lot of batters tonight. So we have Aiden King now coming in to pitch. He will be the 4th pitcher of the inning. I'm looking down here at this goofy-looking kid that's standing in front of the concession stand. His name is Drew Collins, and I feel like I'm calling out my whole family here, but for some reason he wants a shout-out. I don't know what his shout-out is for, but, hey, he just got one.
And I got one more. I got another text here. Mr. Luke Simino, another good friend of Anthony Collins's. They played Babe Ruth down here together. They're out here supporting the team. Another great Chell player. Fun fact about him, one of his favorite TV characters out there is Cliff Huxtable.
Really?
It is. It tells you what kind of guy he is.
Luke, you might want to be pretty careful about having that as your favorite TV character at this point. I'm not sure what's happening.
He doesn't follow the news very much.
No. You know, Luke played ball for Westfield Technical Academy. When he played, it was Westfield Voc Tech.
Yes.
And if I remember correctly, he might hold the record for the most pitches thrown in a high school game in Westfield. In a tournament game, I believe Luke threw up beyond 140 or 150 pitches.
That is true. And Luke's a warrior. He was a great high school player. Played in college a little bit. Great left-handed pitcher. Great guy.
Correct. But with that said, you hate to see a kid throw that many pitches. Luckily, it didn't hurt him because he is a warrior, and I'm not sure how you would have gotten him off the mound.
Yeah, and that's how much the game's changed from even then to now. I mean, in 5-6 years. I mean, who knows? I don't know if that would fly nowadays.
No, I think high school is good. And King delivers the first pitch to number 1, second baseman Johnny Bova. You know, I think Massachusetts high school baseball is actually looking at going to pitch counts.
Really?
Yeah. Right now they don't really have much for rules as far as pitching. You know, and you really want to preserve these young arms of these kids.
Yeah, I mean, especially at the high school level. 5-6 years ago, it wasn't uncommon to see a guy pitch a game on a Monday and then come back again on Wednesday.
Yeah, which is not something you want to do. So Bova takes ball 2 with a 2. I believe he's got a 2-1 count now. And we have bases loaded here, and once again, we have no outs. So we're hoping that Aiden King can come in here and grab some outs, so we can get up to bat and try and make a little bit of a difference in this game. Aiden King delivers ball 3, 3-1. And, Jake, you might have hit the nail on the head earlier. Right now, throwing strikes is very difficult for all of the Westfield pitchers. But they'll snap out of it. That ball is pitched for a strike, fouled back over the backstop onto the hill to make it 3-2.
Yeah, it's unfortunately walks are part of the game, and it's tough to win when you walk a lot of guys.
Yeah. King gets ready to deliver a full count pitch here. He delivers. It looks like a curveball. Nice play by first base. Oh, throws it home to the catcher, not able to handle the play. And it looks like we got 2 runs that are going to score on an error.
Yeah, and I'm sure nobody feels worse than the course there. But again, when you walk a lot of guys, it puts so much pressure on your defense.
It does.
And it was a nice play to pick the ball up. It was a pretty decent throw home. I mean, it pulled him up the line a little bit, but it's a ball that normally when the game's slowing the way that it does is probably
as a catcher on a play like that with a forced play at home, you got to make yourself into a first baseman, and that's not always the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, and it looked like he kind of did it. It looked like he kind of stretched for it. It looked to me like he just reached out and tried to close the glove before it got there.
Lost a little concentration a little bit. So King delivers the first pitch to DeFelice. I believe that's how you say it. Grayson DeFelice, or DeFelice, number 22, the left fielder, for a strike. King delivers the second pitch. Ball swung on. Infield was in. And we have a little tweener in between short and second to drive in another run. You score that a hit. Based on where I think if the infield is back, they may make that play.
Yep.
But coach is really trying to get them to you play the infield in on that, trying to get the bleeding to stop. But here we are, no outs. Jack LaCory is up to bat. Aiden King throws a first pitch for a ball high. Jack LaCory has walked and has singled in tonight's game so far. LaCory tries to hold back, is not able to. It's 1-1.
Yeah, and this is tough as a pitcher, as a fielder, as everybody. Nobody ever wants to be down 11-0 in the third inning, but got to battle through, and you got to remember it's only one game.
It's one game.
It's one game, and especially in the pool play stage, it's one game. It doesn't matter if you lose by 1 or you lose by 21.
Correct. So the talk a little bit about that, the format. So we have a 3-1 count here on LaCory. A little bit about the format here of the regionals. It is pool play now. So all these teams are playing, and then they will be reseeded. they will be reseeded for Sunday to start pool play, which will then be a single elimination. King delivers a strike there to make it a full count. So beginning on Sunday, it'll be a single elimination. So all teams in each pool will be seeded for like a tournament play. Runners off and is able to take second easily. We now have second and third. Ball 4, bases loaded here with no outs, and the 8th batter of the inning. So this is in the first inning, Trumbull batted 9. They batted 10 in the second inning, and the 8th batter of the inning is coming up now in number 23, Nick Capone, and Aiden King is able to deliver a first pitch strike.
Yeah, and again, you got to give credit to the Trumbull offense. They're not helping the Westfield pitching out at all. 1 through 9, they are all patient hitters, good swings. They're hitting the ball when it's pitched there, and they're letting it go by when it's not.
Discipline.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You got a game plan. You know, if you got to make the pitchers throw. You got to make them throw strikes. So we got an 0-2 count here on the batter on Capone, and Westfield looking to record an out here. Pitch, pop up to the infield, and it is hard to catch. Aiden is not able to catch that. Is able to throw to second for a force out. Throws to third, and he's safe. A run does score.
Now, again, that's another one that I would argue probably should have been an infield fly.
Yeah, I'm really not understanding why infield flies are not being called here at all, actually. Because you're right. That wasn't in. I mean, if it was a fly ball in the infield, I would think it's an infield fly.
Yeah, I mean, granted it did drop, so. But, yeah, it's a little surprised. I expected that one to be called. You know, because the danger you run into there is if it's right at one of your infielders, they just drop it and they can double someone up very easily.
Correct. So, Luke Messick is up here, number 34. And he's got runners on the corners with 1 out. And he started out, King started him out with a strike. So it's an 0-1 count. Wow. So here we are, 1-1. King just missing with that. Wow. Messick hits that ball a long way. McCormick goes back to try. He made a nice effort to get back to it. He gets back to it quickly. Trumbull's trying to get him to third, and ball is stopped by Zagul. Good stop by Zagul. They're able to score 1 run on that, but I tell you what, that ball was hit hard and far.
Yeah, that ball was hit a long way. Nice piece of hitting there.
Yes. So we got the 10th batter of the inning coming up, and Jack Wallace. Ball's hit high towards left center. Della Penna under it, makes the catch. Runner tags from third. Record that an F7. That makes so that runner tagged on that, which brought the score to 14-0. I was actually a little bit surprised to see the runner tagging up on that when we have such a lopsided game here. But
yeah, I mean, you know, it is the regional tournament.
It
so,
is.
You know,
it is.
I don't know how exactly the pool's set up if run differential comes into play.
No, I
like
think it's just head-to-head matchup here. So Dylan Moran steps to the plate, takes the first pitch for a ball. That ball is driven hard over the right fielder, and he's going to score him from second.
And that one gets by the right
fielder. It looks like
he'll hold it first.
Yeah, he holds it first. That would be a base hit for Moran. Ken Martin comes to the plate, so that runner coming from second base to score.
Yeah, and just so much confidence from that Trumbull offense right now.
Yeah,
they're locked in.
So that brings number 25, first baseman Ken Martin, to the plate with a runner on first.
It looks like he got him.
He picks him off first base. Aiden King with a nice pickoff move. That's good job. Good job. So that would be out number 3.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Ends
obviously
the-
Westfield's chasing 15 here. The game's probably out of reach at this point, but, you know, they have more games.
Correct.
It's only one.
Correct.
So, you know, as a coach and a player, you want to play like the next game's starting right now. You want to get something going, at least try and take something positive out of tonight that you can carry over to your next one.
You do, and you know, I do hate. I guess it's never over till it's over, because Westfield could come back and put a big number on the board. You know, with the mercy rules that happen here in the regional, you're hoping that it doesn't get past the 15 runs at this point.
Yeah, no, agreed. And as we take a break here in between innings, I got one more shout-out for you folks. My phone's blowing up over here. I got Cody Collins, who was I believe, the home run leader for Westfield Little League this year. They had a nice run in All-Stars. Very, very good player. He'll be coming up and playing on this field next year, making the jump.
He will.
So I'm sure he's excited for that. You know, he's a big gamer. Likes MLB The Show, PS4.
Yeah.
You know, he's not that great at it. But
he thinks he is.
I mean, you know, you throw a dog a bone every once in a while.
Every now and then. You know, he did bat. I believe he batted like 792 in the Little League All-Star games. He hit 5 home runs in 7 games, which is pretty good. He hit a ball deep at Paper Mill. You know, I'll say it again. We have every year. The Westfield teams, the Westfield Little League has an national and an American team. They used to be North and South, but now they're National American. They get placed in the same pool every year by Little League, so typically the Westfield teams are battling it out against each other for the District 2 title. And once again, that happened this year with the American team beating the Nationals in the championship.
Yeah, and and you don't know how other teams work. You know, I don't know how Trumbull works, but that's another thing that, again, even I experienced it. A lot of these teams, when they get to the 13, 14, 15-year-old years, they've been playing together for 4 or 5 years prior to.
They have, you're correct.
That was one of the bigger disadvantages, and, you know, I know baseball is baseball, so it's not, I shouldn't say huge disadvantage, but, you know, you want to know your teammates and whatnot, and a lot of these kids that are playing on the field now, this is the first time they play together.
Correct. Because they're coming from two different sides of Little League. Little League in Westfield has changed the way they do things a little bit, but you got to remember, Little League is Little League, and Babe Ruth is actually affiliated with Cal Ripken.
Yes.
So some of these teams coming from Babe Ruth might have a Cal Ripken younger league that they play in. So Bobby Della Penna is taking his shot here at Moran in the top of the 4th inning, and Moran starts him out with a ball in the dirt. So Della Penna hoping to put one out there. He does. He drives the ball to left field, but the left fielder gets to it and makes the play. I'm going to tell you what, though. I'd have to say Westfield is putting the bat on the ball.
They are.
And they're just hitting it. They're hitting it where they are, and they're hitting it hard.
Yeah, they are. And again, you gotta give credit to Moran. He's thrown a great game. I'm a little surprised he's still in the game, to be honest with you, with the scores.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know where he lines up for them as far as their rotation goes, but you know, with so many games in such a short period of time, you want to save as many innings as you can.
Well, the problem here is they don't necessarily go by innings. They're going by pitch count. And I know Trumbull played a long game yesterday, and they had 2 pitchers not eligible to pitch today.
Interesting. Okay.
So
that makes a little more sense.
Yeah. So Troy Heavey steps to the plate, hits a little blooper towards first. First baseman comes in and barehands it.
That thing had a lot of English on it.
It did. I thought he was going to scoop by him, but he barehands it for a 3-3 unassisted. So here we go. Westfield's got 2 outs, and you know, folks out there, that's only 4 pitches for Moran in this inning, and that's 2 outs. So his pitch count is pretty low, actually. He probably doesn't even have 40 pitches yet. Dylan Ruth steps to the plate.
Yeah, Moran's been he's been very efficient for sure.
Boy, I've seen Dylan get a hold of some pitches over the years. You know, he can get that ball in his wheelhouse. He can hit it a long way.
Yeah, and again, it's you know, just the way the outfield's positioned, it doesn't. Maybe a lot of guys don't pull Moran. The right fielder, excuse me, is way off the line. If he can serve something out in the right field, he could go for a run.
Yeah, the 1-1 count. Moran delivers. He jumps back out of the box, and it's called strike. So it's 1-2.
Yeah, that was interesting. That looked like a fastball too.
Yeah, yeah. Typically, you see kids jump out of the box on a curveball. Ruth takes a swing at it, follows the ball down the third base line.
Yeah, he was. That pitch looked like it was out, but he was pretty late on that one. I'd be surprised to see Moran come back with anything but a fastball here. You don't want to speed up the bat.
Yeah, yeah. That was a curveball.
That's exactly what he does.
And Ruth hits the ball well again, and it's right to the right fielder. Takes about, what, 10, 12 steps to his right, and is able to catch that ball.
Yeah, that was a nice piece, though.
It was.
That was a nice piece. Personally, I wouldn't have called the curveball there because that's exactly what he did. He sped up the bat, but you know, that's, you know, credit to the hitter for staying on the pitch and putting a good swing on it.
Yeah. You know, Westfield has hit the ball. They've hit the ball six flyouts to the outfield, and they're not pop-up flyouts. They're good little shots. It's just at the Trumbull players.
No,
you know?
And another, you know, again, as these kids, you know, you follow them when they go to 14s and 15s and eventually to high school. It's tough at this age because the outfielders can play so shallow. You know, you're not going to see many 13-year-olds, you know, put a ball near the fence here. You know, 325, 386 to center. So you can really kind of shrink the field in a sense where, you know, though a lot of those balls as high schoolers or even 14 or 15, those would be base hits.
All right, so we're just asking for a little bit of
couple Diet Cokes.
Couple Diet Cokes up here. So it looks like who do we have on the mound here for Westfield right now? We have Colby Nadeau who's taken over on the mound for Aiden King. So Westfield's using their fifth pitcher. It's actually, I look at that as a pretty good strategy because what you're doing is you're keeping the arms fresh because you know you got another game tomorrow. You know you got another game Saturday and Sunday. And if you make it past Sunday, you're playing Monday. So you got to keep your arms fresh.
Yeah, and that's another big difference from when I played and even a couple years ago. I mean, these tournaments used to be strictly double elimination, where if you lost a game, your back was against the wall right away.
You're right.
You know, these Westfield guys got to remember that, you know, you can only lose one game. You can only lose the game you're playing. Yeah. So, you know, you got to move on to the next day. And
you don't want to lose the game Sunday.
Even if you go 0-for in pool play, you know, anybody can beat anybody in a baseball game on any given day. So they got to remember that. And there's a ground ball to second, picked up, fired to first, and Westfield gets the lead runner for the first time tonight.
Excellent, excellent. So we got one out here. So, number 20, Justin Delaney steps in. Westfield's got the first runner out, so hopefully they can latch on to this a little bit, make it a 1-2-3 inning. So at this point through the game, what I'd like to see Westfield do is just play some solid baseball and get some pitches across the plate and just finish strong.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you got to find the silver lining in everything. Like I said before, you got to try and find something you can carry over to tomorrow because tomorrow's a new day. And you know, there's a chopper to third.
Ball to third. Zagul comes in. It's going to be a tough one. He makes the throw. Nice stretch by, is that Yaka? No, nice stretch at first base for an out. That was a great play.
All around, all around.
So that's out number 2. So playing first base right now is Danny Provost. What a great stretch.
Yep, he went out and got that thing. He had to. It was bang, bang. And, again, nice play by the third baseman. Pick it up, get rid of it quickly, and throw a strike to first base.
And now Johnny Bova, the second baseman for Trumbull, steps to the plate. Here we go. Ground ball to shortstop. Heavy's not able to handle it, unfortunately, and the runner's going to reach on an error by the shortstop.
Yeah, and that one was one of those tweener ones. You saw he had to go to his right a little bit. Looked like it may have taken off that lip a little bit. You got that in-between hop. Ideally, you'd like to see him come in on that ball, but come in or take the bigger hop and sit back. But unfortunately, with the arm strength at this age, it's tough to sit back on the ball and still throw the kid out at first base.
The good thing is he didn't attempt the throw and then compound it by overthrowing first.
Yep, he didn't panic, which is good. Knocked the ball down and play to the next one.
So the left fielder, Grayson DeFelice, steps to the plate and calls time. So there's a runner on first. DeFelice is up. There's 2 outs. And the delivery, I tell you what, he's pounding the zone.
Yeah, I mean this is
good.
This is the first inning we've seen the Westfield pitching staff get ahead and throw strikes.
Correct.
And it's no surprise that they have 2 outs early.
5 pitches right now, 2 outs. So that's good.
Nice stop by the catcher.
He was steering that one a little bit. That's the first one he did. I'm not sure what he tried to throw there.
Yeah, it looked like Sutton off speed. The arm speed there looked a little slower. He was definitely trying to throw something a little off speed to him there. Not sure quite what it was, but that one ended in the dirt. And,
it almost looked like a knuckleball. Ball hit the second base. LaPointe fields it, throws to second for the forced out. Westfield is able to get out of it without giving up a run. So I'd have to say that's a victory for Westfield on that one. No runs scored by Trumbull, and only 4 batters faced the Westfield pitching.
Yeah, it's good to see the Westfield kids are running in, smiles on their faces. You can't take it too seriously or it'll eat you up. Again, it's obvious the game's in hand, and it's good to see them relax, trying to build on something here. And hopefully, again, I mean, you can take that inning right there, a nice quick inning as a victory, and try and get some things to go right for you here before you take the field tomorrow.
Put a couple runs on the board here. Looks like I just heard over the radio they're going to replace Moran on the mound, so they're going to take him out, which doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
you don't want to waste him.
And credit to him, pitched a great game, really went after the Westfield hitters. He could have pitched all night the way he was going.
Yeah, he pitched really well. He didn't throw a lot of pitches. He gave up 1 hit. It's not often you see a kid taken out of the game that's only given up 1 hit, but when the game's in hand like this. Although, it's in the game of baseball, I know we're down 15 runs, and you can never count a team out. Pittsfield has done it twice in this tournament already. They've been down in the bottom of the 6th inning, heading into the last frame, and they've won both games. One against Westfield and one today against Newton, Connecticut. They were Newton, Mass. Pittsfield was down 3-0, heading into the 7th inning, and they won the game. So,
never say die attitude.
No, that was an interesting one too because the umpire, the field umpire, was playing, a little bit inside in the infield by shortstop, and kid from Pittsfield with bases loaded. First and second, hit a nice hard ball towards the shortstop, which would have been a double play ball. The ball hopped up and hit the umpire in the groin. Well, the umpire goes down. Everyone's safe because now the ball is dead.
That's bad luck.
And that's the inning that Pittsfield scored all their runs. Yeah. So it's the bounce of the ball, I guess.
Thank God it wasn't an elimination game.
Exactly. So taking his first stab at the pitching here from Trumbull will be Jake Yakum, who entered the game. And pitching for Trumbull will be number 22, Grayson DeFelice is now on the mound. Jake Yakum replaced Jimmy Cloutier, the legend, who was playing right field. So Yakum steps in, and DeFelice is ready to deliver.
And the fastball looks pretty similar to velocity-wise to what we just saw from Moran. He is going from the full, which is a bit of a change-up from what we've seen prior to this. Yakum fouls a pitch that was about letter high off, but it was a good cut.
Yeah, you got a 1-1 count.
Westfield number 3, Jake Wackel.
DeFelice is ready to deliver. He's got a nice windup. It's tight.
Yeah, his mechanics look good.
Yeah.
For sure, it's very compact, and he's definitely. You can see the plane he throws the ball on. It's coming downhill. He's on top of it. He's throwing well. Impressed so far.
And physically, he's bigger than he's probably the size of Moran. So
yeah, very similar.
Joachim takes a stab, drives the ball towards second base. Second baseman is able to feel the ball and throw it to first for the first out of the inning. As a coach, after the game, when the Westfield coaches talk to their players, I know it's hard after such a lopsided game like this to find the positives, but the positives that I'm finding for Westfield right now is they've only struck out twice in the game. Every other out has been, a fly to or a line drive to the outfield or a ball hit hard in the infield.
Yeah, I mean, you eliminate, it's a big elimination. You eliminate the walks. I mean, again, not taking anything away from Trumbull. They do have 8 hits, but it's not a 15-0 game.
Correct, correct.
It's Westfield really, they beat themselves in a lot of ways tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, as a coach,
sometimes it's pull the positives
sometimes it's better to lose 15-0 than it is to lose 2-1.
Yeah.
You can laugh it off, you play it the next day, and you regroup.
Alex LaCourse is up, and he takes ball 3. So he's hoping to get himself on base. Westfield has had a couple base runners. In the first inning, we actually one of our base runners reached second base. It's the only runner that's reached second base for Westfield.
Yeah, they've had a
takes ball 4.
Tough time getting anything going. But walk here with 1 out, and see if they can get something into business here.
That's the first walk for Trumbull.
Which is huge.
It's huge.
You don't walk anybody, you set yourself up in a good position to win.
Yeah. So, number 19, third baseman Kareem Zagul steps to the plate with Alex LaCourse on first and hoping to put a little bit of offense here together for Westfield. Zagul ready to take the first pitch. LaCourse takes the lead off of first base. Ball low. So, as the Westfield hitters, I'm hoping they're paying attention to this. That's a 5th ball in a row. 5 out of 7 that DeFelice has thrown at this point. 5 balls out of 7. So hopefully the hitters have taken note of that. Because I know the Trumbull hitters did.
They certainly did. Especially when you're chasing such a big deficit. As a coach, you almost want to tell them to take a strike.
Yeah.
When you see a pitcher struggling, see what you can develop and hopefully push a couple across the board.
Yeah, Zagul brings the count to 2-0. Doesn't chase that last pitch, which was close. But
yeah,
he
it
didn't
was.
Chase it.
It was, and that makes me wonder if they are. And that, to be honest with you, I'd rather see the previous pitch called a strike because that one looked up to me.
That one was up. That was up at his shoulders, called strike. So it's 2-1.
But the approach at the plate from the Westfield hitters leads me to believe that maybe that's the conversation that they had. Make the pitcher work, take a strike. We're chasing a bunch here, and see what we can get going.
And I tell you what, Jake, if you take a look out there, boy, Trumbull is given a big hole in between first and second. The second baseman is also almost playing straight away.
Yeah, which is strange with the way they have the right fielder position because the infield's playing like they expect him to pull, and the outfield is playing like, and that one's fouled off. I shouldn't even say that, though, because the right fielder's been there pretty much all game. I'm not sure why the second baseman is where he is, but
the outfield is pretty much stayed put.
They know the pitcher better than we do, I guess. So
full count here to Zagul. He's hoping to either draw a walk or be able to get a base hit here. Zagul takes a swing, fouls it back.
You're good at bat here.
It is a good at bat. That would have been. I think that would have been called a strike.
Yeah, that looked like it was there.
So Zagul steps in again and is ready to take a pitch from DeFelice and hopefully put something together here. And he fouls that back as well. You know, these coaches for Westfield, they put a lot of time in, obviously, as do all volunteers in our baseball community here. They practice every day, trying to get these kids ready, make them ready for games and better ball players. So, you know, as a parent, here's the pitch, ball 4.
That was a very nice at bat.
It really was.
Very nice at bat.
So as a parent of one of the children on this team, I'd have to say a shout out and a thank you to these coaches for the time that they've taken and dedicated to these kids. And also a shout out to the countless volunteers that are working this event. We got people in concession stands selling merchandise, selling tickets, doing field work, doing the announcing, people from the community that don't have any kids involved, one being Jake, whose oldest child is only 3, who will benefit from this someday from these facilities here. So I'd have to say thank you to all the volunteers.
Yeah, and that's what it's really all about. It's about the kids. You know, back in the day, everybody did it for us, and they did it. You know, I watched my brothers do the same thing, and it's not possible without those folks. So it's a huge thank you, and there's a lot of appreciation for everything you guys do.
It's that give back attitude, I think.
Absolutely.
You got to give back.
Absolutely.
Colby Goodnow in there. He's got 2 strikes on him. Swing. Sorry, he had 1 strike on him. Swings for strike 2. We do have runners on. Westfield does have runners on first and second with 1 out. Colby hoping to get a piece of it here. He's got 2 strikes on him. Sorry about the count. It's only 2 strikes at this point. Colby hoping to take one, maybe line one between first and second, maybe score a run here. Takes a swing, pops it back, foul over the first base side of the ball field up onto the hill.
I'm getting a little nervous. That's where my vehicle's parked.
Oh.
I've seen a couple of them go
Don't you know this, Jake? You can't park near the field around here.
It's been a little bit.
Yes.
I was wondering why those spots were open.
We've all lost windshields here. Usually when it goes in the parking lot, you hear people praying, please hit the glass, because that's at least covered by the insurance company. So Colby's ready to take the next pitch. Swings at a high pitch for strike 3.
Don't mind the aggressiveness, though. He made him work there, worked him to a little deeper in the count than we've seen tonight. So,
you know, you can't hit the ball if you don't swing the bat.
That's true.
You know, I mean, it wasn't over his head, so it was probably shoulder high, and we've seen those called strikes tonight. So
and a nice pitch too. It's a pitcher's pitch.
Yeah.
You know, he had him up down in the count, and
so Danny Provost steps to the plate here. He did strike out last time up, which is unlike him. He takes the first strike. You know, if it was a close game, you look at where the fielders are playing for Trumbull, and it would be very easy for Westfield to take third base here because the third baseman is playing far back, but you also don't want to run into an out.
Yeah, they're not holding anybody on.
No,
I don't blame them. They're at this point in the game with the score being what it is, they're chasing outs.
Yeah. So here we go. It's an 0-2 pitch to Provost. Once again, Provost is hoping to put the ball in play here to give Westfield a chance. It's hard to say this, but you want to put the ball in play to hopefully get a hit or make Trumbull make a mistake, which they haven't made.
No, they've when Westfield has put the ball in play, they've done a very nice job of picking the ball up. Not a lot of strikeouts, not a lot of swing and miss.
Provost looked at a very, very close pitch there. It was called a ball.
You know, it's always easier when you're up 15 runs.
Correct.
The not a whole lot of pressure there, but you got to give them credit. They've made every play that they've had to.
Provost takes a swing, fouls the ball back. You know, as a coach, it's just as I've been on both sides of lopsided wins, the good side, the bad side, and it's just as hard to coach when you're on the good side as it is the bad side.
You're not kidding. There's a good
Provost with a line shot over the second baseman. And LaCourse rounds third and is going to score a run for Westfield. Westfield puts the first run on the board. A great piece of hitting by Danny Provost. He was patient. He had 2 strikes on him, and he was able to get a nice hit. That was a nice hit.
Yeah, and again, you've seen Westfield make the Trumbull pitching staff work this inning, which
absolutely,
which is a good thing. And we talked about the positives, and that's it's good to get on board for them for sure.
Correct. Ryan LaPointe steps to the plate. He had a hit last time at bat. So he's so we got the only 2 hits came from the last 2 batters in the order, which is fine. Let's hope for Ryan LaPointe can put the ball in play and score another run. That first pitch is high for a ball.
And you see, once you get a couple runners on, a couple tough at bats, the pitcher starts to work a little bit. It's smooth sailing when you're out there getting outs, pitching from the from the full with nobody on. Once you get a couple base runners out there, the pressure amps up.
It does. It changes it up a little bit. LaPointe with a 1-1 count, getting ready to take a pitch.
And that's the funny thing about pitching. It doesn't matter if it's 15-1 or 2-1. There's a level when you got runners on around you. You got to pitch the stretch and look guys off and whatnot. There's a level of discomfort on the mound.
Pass ball goes back to the backstop for ball 2. Runners advance. We now have runners at second and third. LaPointe's got a 2-2 count. So here we go. A little base hit here by LaPointe, scores at least 1. We do have some speed on second base, so a base hit may score 2 here. This is the most batters that have faced Trumbull pitching in 1 inning for Westfield all night. Ooh, Ryan LaPointe strikes out on a low outside pitch that it looked a little out of the zone, but once again, I am not the umpire.
Yeah, that was nice location by him. Again, tough angle from here.
Correct.
But
so Westfield is able to pick up 1 run. But unfortunately, that concludes our game tonight. Westfield gets run ruled by Trumbull. But I'd have to say, if we were going to put some positives together, Westfield was able to play some pretty good ball. They did not play poorly defensively. The one thing that hurt them tonight were the walks. And I'd have to say, offensively, although they only put 2 hits on the board, they hit the ball well.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot that Westfield did poorly other than, give free passes to Trumbull batters.
Correct.
And again, that's a two-way street because you got to give credit to Trumbull for how patient and how good their at-bats were. They really were. They didn't let Westfield off the hook at all. They made him pitch. When they threw it in the zone, they hit the ball. They picked the ball up on the defensive side, and they played a complete game. And as unfortunate as for Westfield, they deserve to win the game. That's
correct. And, I watched Westfield just right now run down the third base line to go sit in left field to meet with their coaches. And I don't see kids hanging their head. That's great. They're not hanging their head. They know they just got thumped, but they're not hanging their head. They know they got to play tomorrow night. They got to play a Newton team, which is another Massachusetts team. They're hoping to get a win heading into Sunday, so they don't have to face the number 1 seed, which will most likely, out of our bracket, be this Trumbull team. So
yeah, it's always tough to beat a team twice in a couple of
years,
no matter how bad you beat them the first time. But that's to your point about hanging heads and whatnot. That's baseball, and you talk to any major leaguer. You can't get too high when the going's good, and you can't get too low when you're 0 for 20 in your last 3 or 4 games.
Correct.
Westfield's got to bounce back and put this one behind them, and Trumbull's got to do the same thing. They got to play tomorrow too, and it's what have you done for me lately? It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter. Both teams will have to process the game tonight and bounce back and play another one tomorrow.
That is correct. So what we're gonna say here is Jake and I are gonna sign off in a moment. I'd have to say it was a pleasure doing this game with Jake, who is my nephew. But I really had a good time tonight. It was fun.
You too, Matt. I had a great time, and I hope you guys will have me back.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And to all our viewers out there, we will see you tomorrow. First game at 11:30 in the morning. Once again, tomorrow we play at 11:32, 4:30, and Westfield has the 7 o'clock game tomorrow night against the Massachusetts team from Eastern Mass, which is Newton.
Nothing better than a full slate of baseball.
Correct.